Hello and welcome to the Think Share. Actually, just kidding. This is not on the Think Share. This is on the Zachary Watson channel. So welcome. If you saw the title, I'm going to be interviewing Gemma Grace today. She's a YouTuber out of the UK. She has a channel herself where she shares a lot of her challenges, struggles with autism. She's often creating I would say the main purpose of your channel, Gemma, is to create awareness of people with autism. So that people can effectively help, work with, be friends with people with autism. So raising awareness, and she has in the past couple months, she's come out to her family and community as being asexual, and it's been fun to be like alongside you as you've been going through that process. Um, so I feel like one thing we might want to start with, and part of the reason that I felt this was a bit more appropriate of an interview for the Zachary Watson channel rather than the Think Share, because so many, probably about 2,500 of the people that subscribe to this channel came to it because of the pride flag video that I made. So I want to start out with, because I feel like not everyone might necessarily know what asexual means. So
Okay.
could you tell us a little bit about what that means? Like if someone hears that, what does
Yeah.
that
So basically, I've got my own definition here as well as the
Hey, a little bit of your
dictionary.
chin is cut off. Can you adjust the camera angle a little bit more so we can see
Yeah.
what it
Oh,
is?
hold on. Tap it there. I need
Yeah,
to
thank
yeah. Yeah. So basically, from what I'm aware of myself, is the fact that asexuality basically means it's someone who is not sexually attracted to anybody of the same gender or otherwise, doesn't choose to be in a sexually motivated relationship. So for me, that means that I don't choose to, off my own behalf, to be with somebody because I don't feel particularly motivated that way or comfortable. I think it's just something I felt for quite a few years now. I don't really look for a relationship. I don't date or even think about dating. It doesn't cross my head at all.
you. Got it. So I think that that sounds like a pretty good definition. I've done, I'd say, minimal research on these things, but makes sense. So I guess the follow-up question I would say is, when did you know that you were asexual versus just like I imagine someone that doesn't know that they're asexual and then kind of realizes that that might be what they are. I would imagine they just don't find people terribly attractive, and they just kind of. I would imagine they just kind of don't get the whole thing about why is everyone so driven by sex? Why is everyone so like stressed out about romance and sex and stuff? Like how did you? When did you realize you knew?
Oh gosh. I'd probably
That
say
might be
about probably about 4 years ago I started researching it. It's because one of my friends at the time was going through her own process of finding out she was gay, and she then turned around and said to me, "Oh, Gemma, Shrint, there's something about you. Don't you think that you fit into the LGBT space?" So I was like, yeah, I consider myself an ally, sure. Yeah, I consider myself someone who defends people who are going through that process. I respect them. I respect the LGBT community. I always have done. But at the time, I didn't really recognize it. And it wasn't till probably last couple of 3 years that I went into real big depth of researching it. I actually went to a LGBT rights movement at my local university, and then it clicked. They had a lady talking about asexuality, and I was like, wow, okay, uh, this is my life in a nutshell. And I cried, went home, didn't tell anybody what I'd watched or where I'd been all day. I was like,
Yeah,
now what happens? And I was just like, okay, now I'm completely lost. I've gone through diagnosis of autism at the same time to
yeah.
then be like, oh, um, yeah.
So it sounds like it was like a ton of bricks, like kind of having two like pretty major self discovery moments. like discovering something about like your, I don't want to say, would you call it a disability?
I suppose it depends on the actual person. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say to myself that I'm disabled, but technically by UK government definition, I am classed as disabled. Therefore, they give me money for being disabled. But it's to me, it's a different ability. I have a gift of seeing the world in a slightly different way from everybody else.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So I imagine like the moment where you realize like, oh, people have this certain like, I'm not sure that I've ever had quite a moment. I guess like the closest I can imagine is like the moment when someone deciphers what race is, and you're like, "Oh, I'm white." Like, I, everyone probably goes through that moment sometime in their life. Like, I think that's the closest I can think of to discovering something else about myself, or like the day I realized I was like straight. I mean, I feel like it because we're in a culture that most people are straight. It's like we almost don't even have a discovery moment. It just seems like that's the way things are. Um, so I feel like I can. I'm gonna get this backwards. Probably. I feel like I can empathize with you, but I can't sympathize with you, or the other way around. Like I know I've never had any moment quite like that, and I can kind of appreciate how it would create a a a gap in like who you think you are, like the moment where you um have to, or sort of redefining yourself based on a label that maybe a doctor is giving you, or you're realizing has been going on and exists inside you, that you didn't realize.
Yeah, I think for me is when you tell somebody how you feel, like when you tell somebody that you're struggling with your sexuality, the first person I reached out to was you and my best friend at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm really confused. I don't get it. I don't get where I fit in all this. I'm really emotional. I'm stressed. And she was like, "You're asexual, Gemma." I went, "Okay, right." And she literally printed out all this information, gave it to me to read. And I was like, okay, partly mostly agree with it, but I was still very confused. I was still very naive. I'm like, what does that even mean? What does my future mean with that? What do I do? And it wasn't until I saw one of your LGBTQ videos and I was like, wow, okay, I can accept myself. I'm different. Yes, I'm disabled, but there's many more parts to me than that. I'm not just the disabled girl. I'm a girl who's an advocate. I'm a sister. I'm an aunt. I'm a daughter. So I have to kind of remember there is other areas to me with regards to that, and it all kind of fell into place. And I was like, oh, okay, I can be proud to be different, but still, I get emotional about it because it's fairly new to me. Like I've only been speaking about this now for about 3 months, I think, 4 months nearly, and I still get upset. I cried yesterday because I was not sure how to come across today, and I was panicking. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm telling the whole world my kind of background and my story. It's really overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah, I am always so a little history about me and Gemma for those that don't know. I feel like we've interviewed each other maybe like three, four, 5 times now, somewhere on there.
Yeah, yeah,
In between our different channels, so on her channel or on the ThinkShare. I think I've had you once on the ThinkShare. You've had me twice. That maybe this is the fourth one.
yeah.
Um, but I'm always a little bit. I'm always not. I'm not caught off guard by now, but like I'm just always a little bit surprised that you stress out so much about these things. Like to me, it's just like, hey, we're gonna pop on the internet and talk about some stuff. Um, but I admire your courage for coming on here, especially when you do have those anxieties and those like just mental challenges to jump through. Um, I mean, I know my wife, she has not had the courage to come on. I don't know if it's a courage thing or quite what it is. I think it's definitely a comfort zone thing, but there's literally billions of people that refuse to do things like this. So, um, given the increased challenges that you have compared to a normal person just kind of wimping out, thank you for coming on.
You're welcome. I'm honoured that you've had me on, and I think today has been, I guess, for me, a good day. Well, partially a good day because I went to the cinema to kind of relax. I went to watch a film that I wanted to watch, so it kind of got me to slow myself down, relax. I did my meditation this morning, so I got up, did that, went for a walk around the park, calm myself down. I was like, okay, I can do this. Today's gonna be a good day. I know I'm speaking to Zach later, and everything's gonna be good. And then I ran my dad and my mum, and then I was like, okay, calm. Come back home, had an hour nap, did a meditation, and then spoke to you. And I'm like, rock and roll time, let's go.
Um, so I guess my next question, so I guess what is in the title is, could you tell us a little bit more in detail about your coming out story? Now I know you sort of shared like the moment you realized it, but I think one of the challenges that most people probably face when they're about to come out is really the concern that they have about the reactions of their family and community. Uh,
Yeah.
you can either
uh,
sort of chronological order, or you could say like what was the good, what was the bad of it.
yeah, I suppose I could start with I guess the nerve-wracking side of it was I remember texting you and going, Zach, help, I'm gonna tell my dad and my sister today, and we'd planned to go out for a family party, and I was like, okay, today it needs to be done. I need to come out. I need to be honest with everybody.
Mm.
And so I took my dad and my sister outside because it was a nice warm day. I was like, look, we need to talk. And my sister looked at me and she's like, well, we always knew you were different anyway, Gemma. Like, it doesn't really make much difference to us. I was like, well, it does to me. Like, this is important. This is my life. This isn't about you. This is about me. And as selfish as that sounds, I need someone to listen to me.
Right.
And
Good.
it was really difficult. My dad like looked at me completely confused at one point. He's like, so what does that mean, Gemma? And he goes, does that mean that you're never going to have children? And that was the most hardest question to answer in front of my family. I was like, yeah, pretty much. I don't choose to be maternal. I'm not a maternal person myself. Yes, I get maternal with my nephew, but that's different. That's kind of an auntie love to a child. But myself, everyone's like, oh, Gemma, you'd be the best mum. You'd be organized. You'd be routine. And to me, sitting here right now, even thinking about processing that is no,
Yeah.
no, thank you.
So it sounds like the hardest part of it was like answering the question of will there for your dad will there be grandchildren? Now,
Yeah,
I feel like in this day and age, there's obviously adoption, there's artificial insemination, those kind of things. Um, so I mean, being asexual doesn't necessarily mean that you don't want to be a mom, but is that sort of a because I mean that's just a separate thing. I mean, you could be a single mom and not have a romantic relationship, right?
yeah, of course, there's different uh categories of asexuality. Like there is people who do want that intimate relationship.
Right.
There is people who want the children and everything else. That's great. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have it or do it, whatever, but for me, it's just a no-go area. I'm not someone who will want it or thinks about it. And it came up in discussion actually yesterday when I saw my dad,
Yep.
and he said to me, he's like, "You're not going to change your mind about this, are you, Gemma?" He goes, "You're not going to sit here and think, oh, I'm asexual, and all of a sudden you see something and you want to change your mind." I'm like, no. I said, it doesn't happen like that. I've known for quite a long time how I feel.
Yeah.
I've known that I'm different. I know that I don't necessarily want to be in a relationship with anybody. I don't find the opposite sex appealing in any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
I will be friends with them, yes, that's as far as it goes. I don't sit here and think, oh, that's a cute looking man over there. Or sometimes, yes, if I see an actor on TV, I might think, oh, he's got a good looking personality, but that's as far as it goes. I wouldn't,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, so so you talked about the reaction that you had with your dad. Um, I know that I personally know that you've had some other reactions. Are you willing to share with some of those?
Yeah, okay. I think the worst reaction I got was one of my best friends from my school, and she's known me for 15 years. And I told her, and probably wasn't my best idea telling her via Facebook Messenger. I probably made a massive mistake my end on that one. And she reacted and was like, "Don't you think we should have met in person, Gemma?" I was like, "No, not really. I think I've pretty much self-explanatory explained it." And she then decided on her own accord that she would not be friends with me. She's not talked to me. I've lost friendships out of it. And I did get upset. I was hurt. I still, to a degree, am a little bit, but I've learned to process that. I think a lot of people misunderstood my intention at the time. I think they thought I was being deliberately awkward, trying to bring up a difficult topic, and especially people like, "Not now, Gemma. Oh, you can't bring that up. That's not a sensible topic to talk about." And that kind of made me go back into my shell and not want to discuss it in any length whatsoever till I start speaking to you. But on the swing of that, I have had some really good reactions. I talked to my auntie who has a lot of gay and asexual friends. I said to her, "Look, I'm lost. I don't get where I fit in all this. I don't know what to do with myself. I'm struggling. I'm really probably on the border of being depressed." And she said to me, she was like, "Why don't you just be proud of yourself? Come out." I went, "What do you mean come out?" And she was like, "You need to tell everybody." I was like, "Yeah, there's no way I'm telling everybody, not a chance." And she was like, "If you don't, you're lying to yourself, you're lying to everybody else." And I was like, "Okay." And that hurt. I was like, "Do I want to be a hypocrite? No. Do I want to be a liar? No." So I remember speaking to you, I'm like, "Zach, help, please. I don't know what I'm doing." And I've cried. I cried again yesterday because I was getting emotional about it. And I think I still got a long way to go with my mum. My mum's very on the touchy side of talking about it. She's like, "Well, you're still my daughter. It doesn't matter." I'm like, "Well, it does matter to me. This isn't right. This needs to
Mm.
be chatted about, and I'm not getting anywhere."
Oh man, I yeah, I feel like I just have a lot of respect for you because I know that I've never had to have an experience like that, um, and I probably never will. So I mean, thank you for getting through that. And I know that there's plenty of people out there watching these types of things and trying to consider will they have the courage to do that. Um, but I mean, I know you've said that it's been a bit of a struggle and the relationships haven't always gone the way that you've wanted to. But how have you handled what have been some like positive things that you've done that you might recommend people do for when their communities or families have a negative reaction?
Yeah, I suppose for me, the positive reaction was when I told my auntie, and she was. I've always known kind of about the asexual community, gay rights, and everything. So I kind of was aware that I was in that kind of area, but didn't really understand it. And my auntie said to me, she went, "It doesn't matter who you are, Gemma. Like, we know that you're different. We know now it's to do with probably your autism and the heightened sense of insecurity and the heightened sense of relationship failures that I've had." And it's a daily struggle. I struggle like hell every day to even build one single relationship. And I think for me, that causes a lot of issues. And I do have trust issues again
Yeah,
from my past, which I still deal with because now I understand that it's the autism causing the issue. And I think part of the reason why I believe I'm asexual is because I can't trust people very well, and that lets me down on numerous occasions. And I think for anyone else who's out there, I think you need to have someone who you trust 100% to open your heart out to, because I've done that with the wrong people. I've opened my heart up and been trod on, and you need to make sure you have someone who's either a professional, I'd say more a teacher, social worker, someone that's probably outside of the family circle, which I probably should have done rather than run to my family at the time, but I thought it's the most sensible choice.
Yep.
Just make sure you're safe, make sure that you're ready to tell someone, because it's a really big life change for you, and I'm still going through it, and it still impacts me to the point where I have to be very, very careful with the language that I use, because I know a lot of young viewers will be on here, so I'm trying my best to be appropriate educational language. And
I appreciate
it's
that, by the way.
yes, I am aware of teaching and morals and everything in that barrier, which is difficult for me. I think just make sure that you're safe in a safe place. So maybe in their house, or if you're in a school building, make sure that the teacher, if you want to tell the teacher that you trust them, you know them, you build up that trust with them. Because I've thought I've trusted people, and then it's ended up that I haven't trusted them, or they've mistrusted me, and it's gone to the wrong people. So I think you just need to make sure you're safe and you have the right people around you in the support network. So
Mhm.
I'd stress that very, very much, because again, because I've been through this decision later in life, I guess the more earlier you come out, the more help and support you'll get. I'm not sure how it works in the US, but in the UK we do have support groups now, and as part of my autism group, we are actually doing a talk on sexuality next month. So I'm actually looking forward to being part of that and opening up my story to professionals and getting the message out there. So it's
Oh,
just about being careful and not mistrusting the wrong people, because I know with subjects like this it can be very, very, I guess, in a vulnerable state, and I'm still vulnerable right now. I'm sitting here quite anxious, but I'm trying to compose myself.
yeah, I mean, we can't tell the difference. You can find us.
Yeah, you have no idea how much I'm trying not to fidget right now.
I mean, you can fidget all you want. We can't see.
Yeah. Mm.
Fidget away. Be yourself, man.
Yeah, I was my fidget toys are outside the bedroom, so that's fine. I can sit here and deep breaths in my head right now.
Got it. Um, so we've talked about how you came out, who you came out to, good and bad reactions, some of the things that you've done. Are there interactions that you've had that maybe after you came out and you said some things to people that like you look back and wish you had handled some things differently?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Especially on YouTube of all places. I did a live stream the day that I told you.
Yep.
Maybe it wasn't my smartest point of call. Maybe I should have processed my head at the time and not rushed into it. And it got quite a lot of thumbs down, which I was quite shocked about. I thought I'd been quite honest. I was probably, maybe now
Did
think about, too anxious, but
they got a lot of thumbs down? Did it get more thumbs down than thumbs up?
no, it didn't get more thumbs down than thumbs up. But at the same time, I felt like I'd failed, but I still left it up because I wanted to make an impact at the time.
Yeah.
And I think maybe I should have done maybe a shorter video rather than making it quite a long live stream one. I think if I do a video, well, I am going to do a video because I want to, because I need to get this off my chest. And I think having this out there now is going to help me feel 100 times better than I do right now. Um, and I think I want to just try and support people to come out, I guess, and not have to feel that they're afraid, because I've held this in for the last 20, well, the last 5, 6 years, but the last, it feels like the last 23 years I've kind of not told the truth.
Hmm.
And it's hard. I still feel I'm a hypocrite. I sit here, I'm like, Gemma, you just sound so preachy, and you sound like you're being a bit of a boss, and I just want to help people. I have that passion. I want to try, and if I can help one person, just one person, come out or come to me and they can say, okay, Gemma, can we talk in private? My channel is open, it's a safe place. If you want to talk to me about it. And I just want to be there to support people because they don't have to be on their own. I felt on my own for a long time.
Yeah.
It
So
wasn't until I confided in you that I had someone.
in regards to the YouTube live stream that you came out to people, um, I know you'd said like it seemed like that was sort of a failure in your head, but you've kept it up because you wanted to make a difference for people, which I guarantee you have, and I'm sure. I mean, I haven't looked through the comments of it, but I'm sure there's some pretty awesome comments in there, worth tearing up over, even maybe. Um, what do you, so you said you would have done it differently. Was it just the the time length of the video that you would have changed about it?
No, I think the way that I used it, my language, the way that I communicate, I guess, was a big barrier. I was highly anxious that day. I was emotional. I cried for most of it, so I probably didn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
Which I apologize for if people do see it because it was a really emotional day. I'd been on the phone to Zach, and then I went straight onto my live stream
Mm.
and sobbed my heart out for I think it was like 44 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is probably way too long and probably should have cut that shorter, but at the same time I was kind of excited to do it
Why are you saying that that was too long?
because I feel like no one's going to pay attention to a 44-minute video.
Oh, so it sounds almost more like you wished you had taken that moment to really make an announcement people would receive well, and that people would want to watch versus making a long form live stream that you could that was happening live. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes.
I got you. Yeah, I feel like there are definitely moments when I've sort of been in between. All right, do I live stream this or do I produce something? Most of the time, I get a little on the lazy side and just live stream it because it's just super easy to live stream. And I feel like I've gotten to the point where I'm pretty comfortable talking in front of an anonymous audience. Like right now, there's 3 people watching. I don't know if they're the people that are currently the last 3 recent comments, but yeah, I totally know the feeling when there's moments like, all right, should I live stream this now or should I like make a video, edit it a little bit, and then send that out? So I feel you there. And I feel like it's like a big life moment, and sometimes it's like you're so excited to let it out, but at the same time, looking back, sometimes you wish like you had manicured it a little bit and had it be like a little bit more perfect for people for you to look back on the experience and like
Yeah.
maybe be a little more proud of the content creator around it. So, all right, so the video, what else is something that you might have changed about the way you came out or maybe reactions to family members or community members?
Yeah, I think with regards to family reactions, I think I should have probably done it in separate meetings. I think because I told quite a big group at one time, I kind of overwhelmed the situation,
Yeah,
and probably it wasn't the best thing to do at a family party when we were celebrating my cousin's birthday of all days.
yeah.
And it kind of hit me when I got back to my sister's house because I stayed at hers for the night, and she was like, Gemma, do you have any idea the impact you had today? I was like, no, why? And she, it's your cousin's birthday, and you took center stage of it. I was like, did I? And she's like, you clearly have no idea the amount of people who was like looking at you. I'm like, uh,
So
okay.
lesson learned: don't steal the spotlight from someone's birthday to come out.
Yeah, I got in severe trouble. my sister was like, that's a bit disappointing, Gemma. Like, you don't do that. That's not normal behavior. I was like, okay, I get it. I was in the wrong. Yes, probably shouldn't have done it then and there, but at the time I felt comfortable. I felt like it was the right time in my head
Yeah.
to do it. And then the next day my cousin rang me in tears and he was like, what was that about, Gemma? And I was like, yeah, that I'm coming out. And he's, what do you mean? I said, well, you know that I don't want a boyfriend or that kind of relationship. And he was like, but that's just who you are, Gemma. Like, why announce anything? I was like, because I felt trapped. I felt like I can't be myself. My body is kind of, I feel like I've been restraining myself. It's kind of like I need to breathe, and having that carrying around with me has restrained me quite a lot. And I think anyone else who's here right now going through it, feeling, please do not go through this on your own, because I still go through it every day. And yes, I have a lot of support now. I have better people around me, but it's still very, very overwhelming. And I think the problem is that if you do feel this way and you do not have the support, know that you have my support. Know that you can come to my channel. You can privately message me. Zach can give my details out. I'm more than happy for them to email me
Yeah.
and I can talk to them about it. And I think maybe it's just about picking the appropriate time. And again, the people who you speak to and you build that rapport with me and you, I have that. I have that rapport where if I'm struggling with something, or I can ask you a question like, Zach, my family don't get it, or I've tried asking other friends, I'm like, help, please, I don't get it, I'm really confused.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of reach out to you and always talk to you like I said to your class, you was my brother. So I'm like, help. Yeah, I don't know what to do. My head's confused, and you're the only person I really trust outside of my family circle.
Yeah. Um, I'm gonna put your channel link in the chat here. Um, yeah, so I totally agree. Like, hopefully, people have at least one person that they can sort of count on, or like will know kind of for sure that will support them through it, so that they're not coming out alone. Um, although I imagine it's not a perfect world, and there are plenty of people that are completely on their own and no one knows. And I can't imagine what that's like. I know it's tough enough for me to hold on to like a minor secret, never mind like a full like identity, um, for lack of a better word, label, like a fact of who I am. I can't imagine what that's like. Um,
I want
uh,
to.
Go ahead.
I want to turn the tables on you a bit. I've got some questions in my own head, which I've been planning for the last few days in my head.
Uh,
Um, with I know we've briefly touched this before, but I want to ask it again just to clarify for the viewers as well.
mhm.
With regards to the LGBTQ awareness community, why did you choose to get passionate about it? What was your reasoning?
um, I mean, part of it was reasoning, but more of it was it just kind of evolved into something that I was passionate about and kind of naturally took action on. Hey, Caitlin. Um, I I mean, I grew up in a family that was very accepting of gay people. My mom was a teacher for 30 plus years. My dad was a teacher for a little bit, and um, they my mom just kind of taught me that there's nothing wrong with gay people. Um, okay. Um, and just that they just have a different sexual preference, and that's it. That's all there is to that. And my dad, when I was growing up, maybe in high school, he started doing this. So back in Massachusetts, where I live, um, they were, I think we're either Mom, were we the first or one of the first states to legalize gay marriage? Did we beat California? I'm at my parents' house right now, by the way, for people watching.
I think we were the first one to recognize gay marriage, yes. But Vermont did something significant.
That opened the doors, sort of.
Right.
So either way, we live in a very progressive state compared to like the other. I mean, we're probably in the top 5 most progressive states in America, if not one or two, with California, Vermont. And because of that, I think we live in a much more accepting area. So because of all those factors, and because we were one of the first states to start thinking about legalizing gay marriage, people were writing into the newspaper back when newspapers were like where everyone went, a decade and a half ago. Um, and people were writing in saying why we shouldn't legalize gay marriage. And my dad would go into the Foxborough Reporter, the local newspaper, and he would call people out and he would fight for them. And I'll never forget, he received 2 cards in the mail that year. I think there were a couple months after he had written things, but like he kept going back and forth with people, like in the comments section, and he was just constantly defending people. And someone sent him a thank you card saying thank you so much for what you do, and they didn't sign it with their name. And I thought to myself, I can't believe someone is so thankful for what my dad's doing and so afraid of sharing who they are, like their name, that they have to stay anonymous. And I thought, like, he must be doing such a service and something wonderful for people if that's how they're acting around it. And I would say as I went into teaching, my first year, I didn't have a pride flag up. And as I was getting my master's degree at UMass Lowell, one of the courses that I took was diversity in education or something. And every week we talked about sort of a new topic, whether it be race or LGBTQIA plus, or it be ethnicity or nationality, but just different like things that people identify with. And I was doing my homework one night. I went to a party with my wife, and I realized I had midnight homework because that's how they do things in college, which sometimes still seems stupid. But either way, I had homework due at midnight. I was like 11:30 something, and I remember thinking, I'm not gonna go read that article, but I will respond to the. We were supposed to read an article and like post something in a forum with our classmates, and I remember saying, you know what, I'm not gonna read the article, but I'm gonna go talk to my gay friends at this party. So I talked to 2 of them, and they were talking about, because I think gay marriage had just been legalized. It was 2015 in the summer. Um, as I said, as a teacher, what's the best thing that I can do as a teacher to advocate for and make my students feel comfortable? And he said, have a pride flag. He said he walked down like a main street in Boston not that long before when I was talking to him. He said he had never felt more comfortable in his own body, in his own home, in his own state than the day that he walked down and saw all those flags. And it was a reminder that there are people there that loved him unconditionally. Um, and so I think the next week, I ordered a flag on Amazon. It was like a 3-pack by accident. So I decided to put one up in my classroom. I don't believe there was another class in the school that had one, but I was one of those things that just put it up and didn't ask for permission. Um, and I thought to myself, if they asked me to take it down, maybe this isn't the school for me. Um, they never asked me to take it down. It was a lot of people loved it. Because I had a couple extras, I actually kept them with me, and every once in a while, there are a couple moments when I took it down, like to have students like someone wanted to hold it or wear it for as a cape or something, and I ended up giving them away to a couple of students that identified with them. Um, so yeah, the way I was raised, and a course in some inspiring motivational words from a gay friend that caused me to get a flag. And I feel like since I've gotten that flag, and since I've gotten a lot of attention on YouTube for having that up, um, I think it's at like 96,000 views or something. Um, Ever since then, I feel like I've just become even more of an advocate because there's so many people that feel the need to hate and be mean and angry. And um, I'm still really inspired by what my dad did, and I hope that I'm making the kind of difference that he has.
I think definitely. I think that relates nicely to the question that I had in my head for the next one, but you kind of answered already, so I'm not going to bore you with it. But it's it's really nice to have an ally like yourself who is so passionate about it. Because over here in the UK, the problem is there isn't that much support, and I've had to fight for my support. I've had to go to people who I think would support me, and luckily I work with this lovely charity now called ACE, who basically work with people with all kind of disabilities: physical, mental, intellectual, neurodevelopmental conditions. And I went to their event last Friday, which I still haven't uploaded the footage. Oh no, need to do that. And they talked about pride, and they talked about LGBT stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna be part of this. So I can talk about it. And I gave a talk to some of the police there who were wearing LGBTQ badges, and I was like, can I get one of them? I want one of them. I want to be able to be an advocate for someone else. And so that's led to me now doing a talk on Friday, which I'm going to be doing about my LGBTQ story and helping officers to understand the difference of people with disabilities and the impairments that might find it difficult to communicate their rights if they're being someone either committing a crime or being a victim of crime. I think that's going to make a whole issue in general. I think that's going to help people better to understand it. I think having someone like me going through the process still and dealing with my emotions and going through the challenge of it, I think it's going to help them. And I'm looking forward to it. At the same time, I'm anxious as anything because that's a completely new topic, and I've also been booked by my local university for a couple of weeks' time. I'm going to be doing a talk about it as well.
Yeah, Gemma, a question that came in from Braden Peltz. How do you deal with your family going against you? Because I'm both pansexual and gender fluid. My parents support me being pansexual, but diss me about being gender fluid and take my feminine clothing away.
Oh wow, okay. From what little research I've done on gender fluidity, get my words out. Um, it's I really respect the person for being gender fluid. I think it's a fantastic you've admitted that to yourself and to your parents. I think at the same time you kind of, I guess you have to respect your parents' wishes, and under their, if you're living under their roof, I guess you have to kind of adhere to what they want, but at the same time they shouldn't restrict you to wearing what you want. I'm the opposite of a complete girly girl. As you can see, I have baggy jumper on and a baggy skirt. I don't conform to certain clothing, so I think you need to just let your parents explain their reasons why. Maybe try and talk to them and say, look, I don't conform to this stereotype because I'm me. I'm still the person who lives underneath your roof, but try and get them to be, I guess, more accepting of it. And I know it can be difficult. My parents, I have this battle all the time, so I'm glad that the question's been brought up. I have a battle with the clothing I wear all the time. I have done for the last 6 years, maybe. And my mum's like, "You're a female, Gemma. Act like it, dress like it." I'm like, I don't like it. I don't want to. I'm not someone who conforms to the label wrapped around my neck. Yes, technically I'm born a female. Yes, technically I am a female. But when it comes to clothing, no. I'm more to the male side of dressing because I feel safety and I feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable in female clothing. I never have done.
You know, it's something I've been thinking about. I've thought about this for the past year or so. I would really love to do it, and I'm scared as F to do it. But I've been thinking, like, what would it look like for me to try to dress feminine or like a girl to school? Um, and I thought, I mean, a skirt would be like the main thing to wear. Um, I don't own a skirt, but I thought to myself, I feel like it would be fun to just attempt wearing one to school and just show people that it's okay. I'm sure my students would have a strange and
Okay, I've got a challenge for you then. I've got a challenge. I will match you. I
oh
will do it along with you. I will film videos every day. Maybe live stream it. Who knows? Depending on how brave I feel when I get up. But I will go through my wardrobe. I will show you what I wear every day. I will show you the reactions I get from people, especially from my family, who rip me to shreds most of the time for what I wear because I'm very, very tomboy. I wear
yeah.
a lot of hoodies. I don't wear a lot of girl stuff apart from today because it's been hot, but
Mhm.
I very much live in tomboy stuff. I have done for the last 9, 10 years, and
Yeah, but
I'm not going to change.
I feel like in today's culture, I feel like women can. I think the main difference in like what uh, most I gotta be careful with my words here. Um, I feel like the main difference in what women wear that's different than men is just the level of bagginess. I feel like for the most part, they're just a bit tighter, but for the most part, they're the same articles of clothing. So like I wear yoga pants, and they're not so tight that you can see my butt. Um, I mean, they look like khakis. Uh,
Which,
I
what, sorry?
as a professional, I don't think women can wear leggings to work. They would have to wear something over them like a skirt. But I mean, the skirt is like the most obvious gender specific article of clothing. I feel like low cut V necks or like something. If something were low cut that were showing like this much of my skin, I guess that would be feminine. But I don't actually see myself enjoying wearing that. But I could imagine myself putting on a skirt and feeling kind of free. I think I'd probably wear leggings or something, but I don't
I,
know.
I, I live in leggings and jeans, so this is the probably, if I stand up quickly, I can show you. I'm wearing a skirt, grey skirt. That's probably the first and last time that you'll see me wear a skirt for a very, 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 very long time.
Well, I never see what you're wearing because you're always sitting down, and we usually just see your face.
Yeah, well, you won't have to see me while I'm wearing, but I don't wear anything girly apart from today because it's been hot to cool me down. But I wear hoodies most of the time. I wear jackets. I have my Ellen jacket, which is my favourite. I live in it. It's in the wash right now because I've worn it every day.
Wait, the Ellen jacket, is it? What does it look like? Is it like a zip up the middle, and is it like
Yeah, it's a zip up one. It's a
some
dark
of the
grey with the
varsity
blue.
jacket? Does it have like a lapel that like not like this, but like
It's a hoodie. It's got a hooded. It's got a hood here, and then it's got the blue letters across the middle there, and it's dark grey, and then at the bottom it's black. It's a zip up hoodie jacket. I bought it about. How long have I owned that?
if you have a picture of it, I'd love to see a picture of it because
Yeah, I'm gonna wear it tomorrow.
like
I'm gonna take you. I can take a selfie and I can send it to you in the Hangouts chat. Yeah, get my words out.
So one of my former students is in the chat saying you should do that challenge because people need to see that it doesn't matter what you wear, they need to understand what's on the inside too. I agree with you, Caitlin. Um, I think it might require a little bit of a conversation with my coworkers and colleagues. Um, and I think they would be on board. I think it would be a little weird because I mean it is making a statement for sure. And I
We step out of our comfort zone. We don't define labels, do we, Zach?
yeah, well, I think one of the challenges of it would be um, making sure to not act feminine, like to wear feminine clothing and to not act it and like make it a show or make it funny. Um,
I don't think you do that. I think you do it very professionally,
yeah,
respectfully. I know what you're.
I don't think I would either. I think I could imagine. I don't know, like I could just imagine wearing a skirt and thinking to myself like that it would be more like there might just be a spontaneous moment where I think to curtsy. And I don't think
That's
that
funny.
so yeah, I would really have to think about how I'm going to act along with the clothing because I think that also makes a huge difference. Because I mean, kids
Yeah, of
see that right
course.
here that they need to understand that's what's on the inside. Um,
I think for both of us, I think it's going to be an interesting challenge from my perspective, I guess, because I don't really wear much feminine clothing. Yes, I might wear the occasional bright colour, but as far as that goes, it's very, very, very minimal. I probably the brightest colour piece of clothing I own, I think, is green. That's as bright as I go.
I go pretty bright. I got like a pretty. I mean, Caitlin's seen it before in person. Is it's like the wicked hot pink, like tight
Yes,
V-neck.
I've seen a t-shirt you wearing a bright pink t-shirt before when I was speaking to you.
I do love wearing that thing.
Yes, you
It's
do. You do rock the pink. I did say to you before that you do. Me wearing pink is no.
yeah, it's like it's not the comfortable thing, but I feel positive wearing it, and like noticing that I'm wearing it.
Talking about femininity is that's an interesting point that leads on quite nicely actually. Talking of LGBTQ issues, my mum is getting married next year. We've briefly touched on this already in the hangout. I'm dreading it because, as she knows, I'm not very feminine. I don't like makeup. I don't like the fact that I'm going to have my head on by a complete stranger. The thought of having someone else in my space, in my face, where I can't get away from it because I'm stuck in a hotel for 2 days,
Uh,
which, again, I don't like being away from home because of anxiety issues and everything else surrounding that. And the thing is, that makes me panic because I now know that I have to conform for a day to wear a dress, which I don't want to wear because I don't like dresses. I'm not that way inclined. But it's annoying because how do I tell somebody that it's going to affect me to such a certain point that I end up not going to my uncle's wedding because of the same issue? And I can't avoid my mum's wedding because it's her special day and I don't want to ruin it. But at the same time, the issues from what stopped me going to my uncle's wedding are exactly the same reason why I'm dreading this wedding next year. And it's scary because it's about having to conform, and I don't like that. I don't like to conform to anything.
yeah. Um, so are you literally going to miss the wedding because of what you're going to be asked to wear?
I want to, yes.
I mean, I feel like as much as we don't want to conform, I think like I feel like there have been moments like when I've gone to weddings and I've bitten my tongue because maybe I want to talk about something, I want to do something to kind of bring attention to myself, just because honestly, sometimes I'm kind of insecure and seek attention. But
That interests me. Um, you talking about being insecure. Let me just quote something
I
quickly
mean,
that you said to me a few.
I have a YouTube channel. I think anyone on YouTube on some level is seeking attention. Um,
Yes and no. In perspective, yes.
um,
I wouldn't necessarily say it's negative attention, like we discussed earlier off air. I think it depends in which way you seek it and the way that you interact with your community and the viewers, and how you say things. And again, it comes down to communication, which is difficult either way that you do it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it's always negative attention necessarily that I'm seeking, but I think the point that I'm trying to say is that I realized it was a good idea to kind of settle down and do what was best for the bride and the groom. And if that meant, I'm trying to think of what I think. Like there are definitely moments. Like one proud moment that I'm gonna kind of just stroke my ego for a second. At my cousin's wedding a couple weeks ago, back in August, I was really proud. It was the very last song they played. What is it? Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody. And
Oh yeah.
I really wanted to create like a circle and have everyone like arm in arm around in the circle. And I started it, and somehow people actually caught on. I organized it a tiny bit, but I just gave it some momentum. And the entire dance floor got into one giant arm in arm circle. And then Joe and Steph, my cousin and her husband, they danced around the middle. And then when the beat dropped on the guitar part, like everyone like stormed the center. And like there was definitely a time when I really wanted to like get into the middle and like be crazy and have fun. But I realized, you know what, this isn't my wedding. This is their last song. Like it doesn't matter that I started it. It's the fact that I get to sort of give this to them. So there was really a moment where I had to like jerk myself back. Like, no, that's not your circle. So I feel like as much as it kind of might feel, I know this is different than you wearing certain clothing to a wedding, but I feel like it's useful to bite our tongues every once in a while. And
Mm-hmm.
when it's someone else's event or someone else's like big life moment, is to conform a little bit if it's what will help make them happy.
Yeah, which is I'm glad you brought that up, because this is what I've been afraid of, and I know that I will have to conform to it. I know that for my mum I will, because she means a lot to me. Yes, we argue, yes, we debate with each other, but
Yeah.
I will, by the end of the day, go and support her because I need to, and it's the right thing to do. But at the same time, I know at the end of the night, once the wedding ceremony is over, I'm going to say to her, look, I will wear the dress up until the end of the wedding.
Yeah.
Once the wedding dinner comes, I'm getting changed, and there's nothing you can do about it. I will take spare clothes in my backpack and I will get changed. There's no way I'm staying in a dress all day,
Yeah.
all night. It's just, yeah, that's kind of where my barrier is with that.
Feel that. I mean, that makes sense.
Which is
All right.
why I'm going to back down.
For the people watching, if you have any other questions, now is a great time to ask them. We're looking at wrapping it up in the next probably couple minutes. My mom's about to come back with a pizza, and we're gonna hang out for a bit. Gemma, are there any closing comments and or I guess advice you might give to someone that's considering coming out, has maybe realized that they're asexual, or like something that I imagine the more that people share their story of coming out, the more they hear and learn from other people's stories. So yeah, is there any general that maybe
Yeah,
we haven't said?
I guess it's just important to make sure that you seek the right support, make sure that you have a bond with someone that you trust, because with me, I've done it probably the wrong way. I probably haven't really seek the right support, the right people. As long as you build up your support network, so a teacher, a social worker, again, I can't stress it enough. Someone who is a professional, who you know well, like a teacher, or it could be a counselor, someone who gets you. And I think as long as you know well enough that you can trust them, that it's not going to go outside of the situation, outside of the building, and you know you can trust them. So again, I know probably for your students, that could be going to you or someone in authority who they can discuss it with privately, and I think that's the best option I can give to them. Also, don't be afraid to come out. Please, 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 please. I can't stress this enough. Please do open up to somebody.
I feel like it's okay for them to be afraid to come out. Just my invitation would be it's okay to be afraid, and I invite you to consider that life can be more freeing and that you will become a better human being by beating your fear rather than fear owning you.
Yeah, you put it quite nicely there.
There's one other thing I was going to say.
Now I'm fidgeting.
Okay. What was the other thing I was going to say? So both myself and Gemma are absolutely available for if you don't know anyone that might be supportive in your local community. If you need someone to bounce ideas off of, if you need someone to be real with, we're both here for you.
Yeah, so that can give my details out. I'm more than happy to have hangout messages, email. Zach's got my contact details, so I'm more than happy for him to give full permission to put
your email is gemmagrace1988@gmail, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I'm putting that in. So, I know there are definitely some places in the world where it's really dangerous to come out. So I know it can be really useful just having one person to talk to, even if it's like a pen pal YouTuber half a world away. There have probably been 2 or 3 people that have reached out to me that I've been able to at least, talk here and there with and help them kind of cope with things. Just because they literally don't think they have anyone that they can come out to without it becoming a dangerous situation for them. So let us be your lifelines. Use us in that way. Don't. I know that some people have told me that they've waited to reach out because they feel like a burden. And what I would say to that is, can't promise I'll answer my emails with a high velocity or speed. And there's nothing more exciting than receiving an email from someone saying like, look, you're the only person I think I can talk to right now. So reach out to us, use us. If you enjoyed this, I totally invite you guys all to check out Gemma Grace's channel. I'm going to put the link in the chat again.
I want to quickly show you something I've done as well to promote your other channel. This is my shout out board, and you'll be pleased to know.
Thank you. Wait, are those like the things that you see at like the doctor's office when they have like all the room numbers and stuff?
Yes, this is
awesome.
So you are up here. There we go. Zoom in the camera. There we go.
That's awesome. Thank you. I see Ty speaking on there too.
Yeah, I've actually uploaded a video about it. I did a shout out video this morning before I went out, and I talked about your channel for quite a length of it.
Well, thank you.
So that's a little pick me up just to encourage you. I'm like, yeah, better show Zach before he sees the video on YouTube anyway.
Have you continued putting out your poetry?
Not as much, no, because I've let's just say been on a bit of a YouTube ban because I've been trolled a lot, and it got to the point recently where I was getting quite upset up till 2 hours in the morning.
Gemma, this is what you do with the haters. You pull them out of your comment section. And you put them in your hand and you go. That's what you do with the haters. You eat that shit.
Yeah, I know, but I get anxious. You know what I'm like, and I've been beating myself up about it, and I've been trying to help another YouTuber friend who's been struggling as well. So I've been kind of consoling him, and that's where a lot of my fiddle toys came in nicely. This is my
latest.
Dude,
do you know how to solve that?
Huh?
Have you learned how to solve it?
No, it's not. It's not an actual Rubik's cube. This is a soft toy version. This is a.
Uh,
But I'm getting a proper one tomorrow. I've ordered a proper Rubik's cube, which I'm dreading because I have no idea what I'm doing.
did you know that I know how to solve a Rubik's Cube?
Yes, because I watched your. I think you did a video about it that I watched, and that's why you inspired me. That's another reason I want to reach out to you as well, because you said about Rubik's cube to me before, and I was like, "What's he on about Rubik's cube? Huh? What?"
Yeah.
And I then went online with my sister. I was like, "What is this Rubik's cube about? What is Zach on about?" My sister's like, "You don't know what a Rubik's cube is?" I was like,
Yeah.
"No, should I?" And my sister's 26 and I'm 29. Well, nearly 30. I'm 30 in 2 weeks. My sister's like, "You have to get a Rubik's cube. Like everyone has them." I'm like,
I don't know if that's
"It's
true. I don't
not."
think everyone has them. They're pretty popular, but like not everyone has them.
No. So my sister spent hours shopping online for one, and she's like, "I've ordered one." I'm like, "Okay."
Oh man, that's a little extra. I think you can go to like a local toy store. I mean, I bought one recently again at Walmart. But Gemma, I look forward to talking with you. We can absolutely talk Rubik's Cube someday. But today
Yes.
I got cussed off. My mom just arrived back home. We're gonna have dinner. I haven't talked to her in a bit. So thank you all for watching. Again, if you enjoyed this and you've enjoyed Gemma, go check out her channel. I'm gonna put it in the comments. It's currently
Please give us a thumbs up, people, and please let me and Zach know that you've enjoyed it.
thank you for that. I always say, you know, give it a thumbs up if you like this. If you somehow stuck around and didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. If you want more, hit the subscribe button. And if you found this valuable and you think someone else might find it valuable, share it with them. Thank you for watching. Stay curious, stay mindful, and go ahead, Gemma, do it.
Yikes!
All right, bye, guys.